Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the Infinite Baffled channel. My name is Niall and today we have got a very special video for you because at the end of September we were fortunate enough to be able to go down to the Ascot Hi-Fi Show, and a couple of manufacturers were good enough to give us some time to speak to them and do a bit of an interview. The first of those you're going to be seeing today is with David Kelley, the president of KLH Audio. A big thank you to David for giving up his time to do this for us, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, as always, leave a thumbs up on the video, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below and subscribe for weekly hi-fi content. I do want to quickly say, obviously we're doing this at Ascot, there's a lot going on around us, there's a bit more background noise and you know the quality isn't quite what we'd normally hope for, but again, you can imagine at the show with so much going on, we were just really thrilled to get the chance to speak to somebody like David. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and we'll speak to you soon. Hello everybody, welcome to another video here from the Ascot Hi-Fi Show. Today I'm delighted to say we're joined by Dave here from KLH. Just going to have a little bit of a talk about KLH speakers, the current range and a bit of a history of the company. Dave, if you want to talk about your role within KLH and history?
Thanks for the opportunity to
talk about KLH.
So KLH was founded in 1957 by Henry Close, his partners Lowe and Hoffman. Henry was an MIT engineering student, building at the time Baroque laying kits in his loft at MIT, and heard about this crazy guy Edgar Vilcher in New York, a professor, and decided to take a class. The guy was talking about acoustic suspension designs. At that time, speakers were really large, and he figured out how to build a smaller speaker and still get a lot of output, and a very musical product. So in any case, Henry decided to take that night class along with his partners Lowe and Hoffman. They took the night class and decided to form a company with Edgar Vilcher, who was a New York University professor. And they formed a company called Acoustic Research back in the 50s. Henry Close, Lowe and Hoffman, his partners, left Acoustic Research and formed a company called KLH back in 1957. Henry Close is the K of KLH, Lowe and Hoffman are the L and H, right?
Do you know, I was just about to ask, what does KLH stand for? I don't actually know, but I'm learning myself here as we go.
Well, to give you a little bit more of the history, so I bought the company in January of 2017. And put the band back together, so to speak, from some of my former companies. And the chief engineer is Kerry Geist. He's still with me today. Kerry Geist is one of the foremost acoustic engineers in the world. He's considered one of the top 3 or 4.
Yeah, he's an I'm sure many people will be very, very familiar with.
He's pretty extraordinary. So he's a great talent. So he and I collaborated on the design of the KLH product. So one of the things we wanted to do after I bought the company in 2017, Kerry joined me in 2018, was kind of strip the company down, take it back to its roots, back to its fundamentals. And its fundamental principles, design principles, were really based on acoustic suspension loudspeakers. So we had launched the products prior to 2021, but in 2021 it took us a little time to get our full head of steam to build the products. So we re-engineered the products, designed the products, and then launched the KLH Model 5, which is an acoustic suspension design, originally launched by Henry Close, Lowe and Hoffman back in 1968. So we relaunched it in 2021, April of 21. You may know that it graced the front covers of some of the best magazines in the world, from Audiophile to Sound and Vision, StereoNet, probably arguably one of the most covered loudspeakers in the world at the time. From all the best YouTubers as well. Had over 5 million YouTube views and was picked Speaker of the Year, I think 5 times, Editor's Choice.
No pressure on us then, so if you're watching this, you know, hopefully you're one of 5 million, hopefully.
And so it coveted about 34, 35 awards. It became one of the best selling speakers over the period of time since its launch. And so today we're here with our new partnership, obviously, with Heritage Hi-Fi, Alex and team, yourself. Right? Launching the KLH Model 3s, 5s, and Model 7, which is our latest iteration. It's a 13-inch 3-way loudspeaker. We're pretty proud of. Unfortunately, didn't make it to the show because it's going to held up.
We're here with just the 3s and 5s for the weekend. How would you describe like the sound of the KLH? What kind of sound do you kind of aim for? Is it kind of a more detailed? Is it like a room filler? Is it, what kind of is the aim with KLH when it comes to that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. What makes us unique, right? What is our unique selling proposition? And why are we different from the 435 other speaker companies in the world today? So we're different for one reason. There are only less than a handful of companies, really 3 companies in the world that build acoustic suspension loudspeakers. Obviously KLH is one of them. We're one of the original designers of that technology, right? So what makes us different is between a bass reflex speaker, which is a ported speaker, or a vented speaker, our speakers are completely sealed. So You can put our speakers anywhere from 6 to 24 inches away from the wall, or right up next against the wall. So we really think it's an answer to a question many people are asking, right? You know, I've got limited space, and I want to put a bass reflex speaker in. It requires a lot of breathing room, 2.5, 3 feet of clearance, so I don't create bass loading effects. So we really solve that problem. So what you typically hear people describe in a sound is, with what we do in acoustic suspension, is we seal that bass driver in its own chamber. So there's no mechanical noise introduced. It's using the restoring force of the driver of the air trapped inside that cabinet. So take, for instance, the KLH Model 7, right? The newest model. It's a 2.5 cubic feet cabinet, only 10 inches in depth. You can put it 6 inches away from the wall. So that's a 13-inch bass driver moving a lot of air, playing down to 37, 38 hertz. You'll hear people describe KLH as a very natural sound, very
now I would agree with that.
Bass, and all the way down to the lowest region.
I've listened to them a lot, obviously, at the show this weekend, and natural is definitely a word that comes to mind for me straight away. I mean, even outside of the sound as well, the design of them is absolutely fantastic. They've got this kind of like very retro feel to them. The grills are absolutely stunning. I mean, I often say on the channel, like, usually I much prefer speakers with the grills off, but I love the grills on the Model 3s and 5s that we got here this week, and they look absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I think the mid-century modern look, the classic look.
It is. It's very retro, isn't it? That's the word that comes to mind.
Very in vogue, though.
And
it really, I've traveled the world recently. I've been in Spain and Italy and Germany, all over the UK, and was just doing a trade show in North America as well. And consistently what you hear from people, from consumers and dealers and distributors alike, is, you know, that look, that classic vintage mid-century modern look is really what consumers want.
100%. You see it a lot.
We think Henry Close did that really well back in the 50s. We tried to take what he did and make it even better, right? And of course, in terms of speaker design, you know, the crossovers today, you know, we have finite element analysis for the cabinets and for engineering. And with the speakers, we can do a lot more today than we could do back then. The materials have advanced fairly considerably, and the testing engineering capabilities have advanced pretty.
It is a balance as well. I often say to people, like, you can have a speaker that sounds amazing, but if it looks horrendous, you're going to struggle to persuade the other half to get it in the house sometimes, and vice versa. So you do have to do both parts really well, which it does.
It's funny you say that, because the vast majority of speaker companies don't.
No.
The reality is they just
it's a secondary consideration almost, isn't it? A lot of the time, I think. But
And so the other thing I talk to you about with bass reflex speakers versus acoustic suspension design is, one of the things that happens with a bass reflex speaker is it's tuned down to the tuning port, the lowest frequency, right? And they tend to unload below the tuning, the port. So that never happens with a KLH acoustic suspension loudspeaker. It effectively never unloads all the way down to the lowest bass region. So again, we talk about that tonal balance and the fact that that's effortless and seamless all the way down to the lowest region. That's something that only an acoustic suspension loudspeaker can do.
And that's noticeable in the sound as well. All these little things that are put into the design all come together, and it is noticeable. It's very much, it's a tangible, very tangible thing with the speakers,
and
definitely.
Something else we do is we have an acoustic balance control attenuation switch, and people call it by a variety of different names. But what that acoustic balance control does is, and take for example on a Model 5, which we're showing here today, it allows you to tailor that sound if you have a room that's too live, too live, a lot of reflective surfaces, glass, tile, so forth, then you can take that. High is actually a neutral setting. On the back of the speaker, there's a setting, each setting is 1.5 dB lower above 400 hertz. So what that allows you to do is, if it's too live, it's a little too hot on the top end, you can adjust it down to 3 dB.
Very cool. One thing that Dave had mentioned, which did make me laugh actually, obviously the channel being called Infinite Baffle, is the wide baffle design of the Model 5s that we've been listening to.
And thanks for mentioning that. And I think it's worth talking about, because it's a really notable exception what we do versus the competition. So with a wider baffle design that allows us to take more of that energy and focus that energy toward the listening area. Typically what happens on a speaker that doesn't have a wide baffle design,
it can get lost
on a smaller, thinner, more narrow tower, what happens is the frequency can wraps around, the sound wraps around the side of the cabinet and behind the cabinet, creating bass loading, time alignment, phase coherency issues, otherwise known as not very good sound, right? So that's something, an advantage we have in all of our products, from the Model 3 to the Model 5 to the Model 7, are all wide baffle designs.
No, and again, these are the kind of the little things that all, again, come together to make what is a pretty special speaker, I think we all agree. But no, this has been amazing. Really good speaking to you, Dave. Again, it's been a real privilege to be here at Ascot. I mean, so many cool things we're seeing, and KLH, definitely one of the highlights here this year, I would say, for me personally. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. If you did enjoy, let us know in the comments down below.
Thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Not a problem at all. You too. A massive thank you again to David for giving up his time for that interview. I hope you guys did find it enjoyable. I thought it was really, really interesting actually. Got an incredible amount of knowledge on the product, and yeah, I actually learned a bit myself, as you could probably tell. But again, if you did enjoy the video, guys, leave a thumbs up. There'll be another interview coming next week, this time from the guys at Deviolay, which again, super, super excited to bring you. We'll speak to you all in that video, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.